Last week I was taking my 7-year-old to school with my wife, and they started going through these affirmations. I think she found some affirmations on YouTube that when they usually drive to school, they go through them. So this was the first time I heard them do it. And it made me think of something. Let me play one of the lines from it.
I have the power to make my life what I want it to be.
I have the power to make my life what I want it to be.
So that got me thinking about adults, and I feel like things were different when we were kids, right? Like, we didn't have people going through those affirmations with us. It was much more authoritarian. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today, was mindset, because I do think mindset affects our income, it affects our personal finances, it affects how and what we can achieve, and it really affects, I think, how we overall feel about our place in the world. For those of us adults who didn't grow up in an atmosphere like that, where we didn't get told, hey, you have power over your life to make decisions, to change things. I think even in my world where I grew up, the book called The Secret, it had just come out and it was really kind of looked down upon. And I'm not actually, this is nothing like The Secret, but I think because of that, people would look at positive affirmations in a similar way, in a similar negative light, and they would kind of discourage you from them. So the person and thing that made me think about this in regards to personal finance was Robert Kiyosaki and his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So in that book, he has his real dad, who's the poor dad, and then he has his friend's dad who he's close with, who he calls his rich dad. And the poor dad would say things like, I can't afford this, we can't do this, I wish I made more, things like that that feel really disempowered, that feel like at the mercy of other people and other things. But his rich dad would ask things like, how do I afford this? Or how can I make more money? They were real open-ended questions that led to discovering potential answers. If you struggle with having this kind of mindset of this, like, do you control your life or are you at the mercy of all of these things around you? I think if you can start by changing this one thing in your life and the way that you approach challenges or questions or things that you're interested in, I think it'll really, really help. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, or I'm not able to budget, or I make too little money, or I can't make more money, we shift that from a statement that stops discovery and stops us from learning and brainstorming, right? It's a definite answer. It's like, I can't do this. Other people are doing this and it's put me in this position, versus how can. That's the shift from a statement to a question. How can I make more money? How can I save for retirement? How can I build an emergency fund? How can I go back to school if I want to go to school? How can I find a career that I really love and provide well for my family? And so when we shut down and we just say, hey, it's not possible, we don't think through potential solutions, right? And then when we say, how can I, the goal is to brainstorm a long list of as many possible answers as you can, and to think on it for a long time. Hey, would this work? Hey, would this work? Hey, could I try this? What I find in my own life is sometimes I build that list and I look at all the potential solutions, and it's like, let's say that you wanted to become a billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg, and you say, how can I become a billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg? And you brainstorm that list and you realize, well, Mark Zuckerberg worked 80 hours a week for a really, really long time. He works all through the night. He has a ton of stress and a ton of responsibilities that come along with that. And you might decide, hey, that's not the life that I want. But at least when you come to that conclusion, you've come to it and saying, hey, I don't want it, rather than I can't have it. And I think that that's an important shift, because when we think that it's out of reach or that it's not within our control or it's something that we can't have, it starts to shift our inside, that other people and other things become the problem, right? Rather than it being our decisions and choices that have gotten us where we're at. Now, hey, there's limits to anything, and there's definitely limits to this. And there are things that are out of our control, and there are things that we can't control. But 98% of everything else is within our control, and it's definitely within our control how we decide to take the things that come our way. And so hopefully this is helpful. Hey, I mean, if it's helpful for you to find, I think, it sounds silly, but hey, if you pull up that YouTube video and go through that in the mornings, I think it could be helpful for even adults to just remind themselves that you can make your life what you want it to be in regards to personal finance, in regards to other things. So hopefully that's an encouragement today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.